All right, students. So today in this lesson, we'll talk about factors affecting international location. We did talk about in the previous lessons about the factors which can affect the decision to locate business. Okay, but here we'll talk about specifically when you are planning to locate your business outside the country. Okay, so let's discuss the factors one by one. First is exchange rate risk. Obviously, when you plan to locate your business outside your country, exchange rate comes into play. It means that now your own currency cannot be used to support any kind of expense you want to make there in that country. So for that, you have to buy the currency of another country, right? Where you are planning to locate your business. So this is a risk as well because exchange rate may fluctuate quickly. And exchange rate, you understand that means value of one currency in terms of another currency. Like how much of foreign currency you can buy with your local currency. Like for example, if right now a dollar is equal to 160 rupees. Okay, so it means if you want to set up a business in America, for example, so for to buy $1, you have to spend 160 rupees. Like you will exchange 160 rupees with $1 and then you will spend there in that country because rupees cannot be spent over there in America. You have to buy dollars to spend there in that country. So if, for example, your exchange rate goes down, that is what we call exchange rate depreciation. Okay, so it means now you have to, um, in order to buy $1, you have to offer more of your currency. Like I'll give you an example. Let's say now, let's say the dollar reaches to 200 rupees. So it means earlier, in order to buy $1, you were spending or you were offering or supplying 160 rupees. Okay. Now you have to supply 200 rupees. Supply here means that you are willing to sell your local currency. Okay. So you will actually sell 200 rupees to get $1. And then you will be able to spend $1 over there in America as well. So this is what we call exchange rate depreciation as far as rupees are concerned. So if this happens, it will become expensive for you to meet your expenditures over there in that country. Because when you, let's say you set up your business over there, the exchange rate was quite low. That was 160 rupees per dollar. But now it is 200 rupees per dollar. So it's not easy for you to continue your business over there because it is now becoming too costly. Okay, so that is one of the risks which is there when you are planning to locate your business in another country, and this is exchange rate risk. It may go okay, but there are some benefits as well. But we are not going to discuss that because we are talking about the factors you need to consider. Okay, and that may affect your business. We can discuss. Okay, let's discuss it. Huh? Like let's say exchange rate appreciates. Now the value of your currency is increasing in terms of another currency. So I'll actually take the same example, that is America. So you plan to locate your business over there, and exchange rate appreciates as far as rupees are concerned. So now let's say dollar is not equal to 160 rupees, it is now equal to 100 rupees. Now it means rupee is appreciating against the currency, that is dollar, right? So now in order to buy $1, you will actually sell 100 rupees only. Okay, so it means it will be cheaper for you. So it means that you would like to locate your business in a country where you have a higher exchange rate, or you think that it is cheaper to buy their currency. Okay, because if it is expensive, I told you what will happen, your cost will also increase. So it's not about only the expenses you have to meet over there, it's about the exchange rate as well, because in that country or in another country, wherever you would like to operate, you have to use their currency, and for that you have to buy their currency, and to buy the currency you have to first sell your own currency. So it is a bit complicated, so you need to understand that. So in simple words, I can summarize it up that in a country where you are going to operate, if you think that your currency is getting stronger, okay, so it is cheaper to set up the business over there, it is cheaper to meet expenses over there in that country. Okay, but if you think that your currency is getting weaker, and that is what we call exchange rate depreciation. So it means then in the future you have to pay more of your currency to buy the currency of that country, and that will obviously increase the cost of the business over there as well. So I hope you understand that, but if you have any problem, you can discuss it with me in the face-to-face class as well. Then we have trade barriers. Yes, it is also very important. The factors which restrict international trade. Okay, we call them trade barriers. So if you think that you are planning to move to another country, you need to consider what amount of barriers are there. If there are very strong barriers there, then it would be very difficult for you to set up your business over there, right? Because maybe you have to shift your resources there as well, labor, capital. Okay, so but if there are trade barriers, it will be expensive for you, or you may not be able to do it, because trade barriers could be embargo. Embargo is complete ban. Complete ban means you cannot actually um, shift your resources there at all, because that country does not want you to transfer your resources over there as well. Or there might be huge taxes involved in it, and that is what we call tariffs. Okay, so if you, let's say, transfer your machines there in that country, okay, what happened? They impose higher taxes, and it becomes expensive for you to move your machines over there as well. So you need to consider trade barriers as well. So it is better to move to that country where there are not a lot of trade barriers. Okay, so that you can easily move your labor or your machines over there as well. Even if you set up your business over there, sometimes you have to buy raw material, or you want the raw material from your own country, right? Because it is cheaper over there. So again, if trade barriers are not there, it's perfectly fine. But if trade barriers are very high, there are lots of barriers there in the form of tariffs or embargo or even quota as well. You know that there is a limit on the number of items you can import. Like you are in England, and you want your raw material from Pakistan to come to England, but there are strong trade barriers. So you won't be able to get raw material from your own country to that country where you have set up your business recently. So, or if, okay, one case is you may not be able to do it, or if you are able to do it, it will be very expensive for you. I told you in case of tariffs. Tariffs are the taxes which are imposed on imports. So then there will be no point setting up your business over there, because advantage will be lost. You have a cheaper raw material in your own country. You are trying to set up in another country, maybe because of any reason. Okay, maybe the customers are there and you think that you will be able to sell them in a better way, and transportation costs can be reduced over there as well. But if you transfer raw material from your own country, or this is your planning, it will be difficult for you if there are trade barriers there. So you need to consider that as well. Then ethical considerations as well. That the country where you are moving, how ethically aware people are. So if they are, then you have to change your product, or you may not be able to sell it at all. Think about cigarette manufacturers, okay, or soft drinks. These days we call them carbonated drinks. So if, let's say, you're moving to another country to set up a plant over there, think about a soft drink, because these days they are called carbonated drinks, and they are not good for health. It's proven, right? So if you move over there, so, and people are ethically aware about it as well. So, and people feel that, okay, this is a company which actually produces carbonated drinks, and it's not good for our children. So even good workers may not like to work over there as well. Good workers may not like to work over there as well. Why? Because they are ethically aware. They know that this is not a good company as far as the health of their children is concerned. So then you may not be able to hire skilled workers or suitable workers over there. So again, there is a problem. And apart from that, people might not like to buy from you as well, despite the fact that they have the income, but they may not buy because they are aware of it, that this is not a good company to buy from if you are using child labor. If you use child labor back in your own country, for example, okay, so people in that country may not like to buy from you, because they believe that, okay, your this business belongs to the same origin where child labor is preferred. So being using child labor is unethical. Okay, this is not right. So it might be allowed in your own country, but in that country where you are trying to set up your business, because people are ethically aware, so they may not like to buy from you, despite the fact you are not using child labor there. But because you are using child labor in your own country, so they may not like to buy because of that. They will consider it unethical, so they will discourage buying from your country. So you need to consider that as well. So you can't say that if you are able to sell well here, or you are using child labor here, so you will be able to sell well in the other country as well. So you need to consider the ethical values which are prevailing over there as well, whether they are very strong or not. If they are, then you have to either change your production method, or if you are not able to do it because it's very expensive, so then you should not plan to locate your business over there. Okay, then okay, one more example. Now, cigarette manufacturing, for example. So people smoke cigarettes, fine, it's okay. Okay, in other countries they smoke as well, but in other countries, especially in developed countries, they do not smoke in public areas. One, the laws are very strict over there. Secondly, people people are ethically aware. They feel okay, we are smoking it, fine, but we should not disturb other people. Okay, so if they get health issues because of smoking cigarettes, so we should not do it. Huh? So people do not smoke in public areas. So that means that the demand of cigarettes will also go down, because obviously people while traveling won't smoke cigarettes. They will smoke it only in their private areas. So that will reduce the demand of cigarettes as well. So again, that should be considered. And again, it is directly linked with ethics. So ethical considerations need to be considered. All right. Then political, legal, and language considerations. Political, like whether the government is supportive of that business or not. Okay. So if government is supportive, fine, you can go ahead. But if not, then there is a problem there. Okay. Like in India, if you actually start selling cow meat over there, it will not be liked because it will hurt their religious sentiments. You know that. So people won't like it, and even the government may not allow you to advertise. Okay, because the people will go after the government that they are actually doing something which is against their religion. So people, obviously, they will actually restrict that particular activity there as well. So you will find it difficult to sell your product or even to promote your product. Legal, sometimes laws are against a certain product. Like in Pakistan, you cannot advertise alcoholic drinks, being a Muslim country. Okay, so you can sell it, but to non-Muslims, and it must be available in specific areas. You cannot actually place alcoholic drinks everywhere. Okay, because it's not allowed. So again, there are strict laws there as well. You need to consider that as well. Then language considerations. You know that whenever people buy something, they first read what is written on the packaging, the expiry date, the ingredients involved, the flavor, and all that. Okay, so if, for example, the country you are moving in, the people are not familiar with the language you are using, so again there could be a problem. They won't buy from you because if they cannot read what is written on the packaging of the product, so they won't. There will be an uncertainty, so they won't buy. So either you have to use the other language, or the language with which the people are familiar, or do not set up your business over there. Otherwise, you won't find a great success as far as the sales of the product is concerned. So these political, legal, and language considerations are very, very important over there as well. Like for legal, I can give you another example. If you see an iPhone, so you always see the charger with three-way, okay, and you won't see it two-way. Why? The reason is because in developed countries, all sockets they are three-way. Why? Because to avoid it from short circuiting. The third wire is for the neutral wire is actually there to avoid short circuiting over there as well. So if you start developing two-way chargers, again people will find it difficult to use it. Or three-way charger may not be used in those countries where there are sockets which are two-way. So you need to consider that as well. And if you try to sell it, because it's a legal obligation, you have to have a charger which is three-way. So you cannot sell it that way, because then people have to find a three-way a kind of an extension, okay, or a cover which can be used so that they can use it in the socket. So that won't be easy. People won't be comfortable and they won't buy from you at all. So you know that the charger of Apple iPhone is always three-way. You won't find it two-way at all. So if people are using it here in Pakistan, they will find it difficult because all the way they have to find a socket way which is three-way. So in Pakistan, people will be disturbed. Although I know that people buy iPhone here as well, but yes, they find it difficult to. Although they actually use an extension to use it, but again the difficulty is there. All right. So moving onwards, language differences again because I have covered it in language consideration. So I'm not going to discuss that because this is quite an overlapping point. Cultural differences, yes, I did discuss that. Different countries, people have different values. Okay, and some values they are directly linked with their religion as well. So you need to consider that as well. Like in Pakistan, we have a large families, we have a combined family system, so we can show in their ads family touch. In other countries, it might not be encouraged that way. Why? Because people they like to have their own identity. Even if you are a child or you are female or a male member of the family, you have your own identity and you are given independence in every way possible there. So maybe the promotion of family touch in your advertisement might not work over there. Similarly, if you show in an advertisement female like let's say doing the household work, again it will be highly discouraged because females they also work outside the house as well. They are professionals and they have their own life as well. So if you just show that females are just there to take care of their husbands or their children, again it will be encouraged in Pakistan but not in UK, right? So it may hurt their cultural values as well, and they may not like to buy that product because a negative image will be created in that way. So you need to consider the culture as well, and same product you might not be able to sell in the other country in the same way, right? Then we have time differences, yes, because for example, you deal with a supplier in another country or a customer in another country, and there's a time lag. Like there's a night time there at a certain point of time, and there is daytime in other countries. So maybe communication is not possible in the same way. Think about America and Pakistan. You know that generally when there is an early morning there in America, so there is night there in Pakistan. So if that is the problem, so again you will find it very hard to communicate with your supplier, your customers, if they are living in the country where there is a huge time difference there. So you need to consider that as well while moving to another country. Then supply chain concerns, yes, like you buy from a supplier who is another country, so a lot of transport cost is involved, a lot of time can be taken as well. If you plan that maybe you move to another country, but you think that the supplier who is in your own country, you would like to buy from the same supplier. Again, it is not that easy because a lot of time will be there, transportation cost is involved there. Okay, and you might not be able to interact with the supplier in the same way because the supplier is living far away from you. Or if you choose a supplier who is actually in another country, so again, this is not easy because supply chain actually means all the processes which come in between from starting from the manufacturer till the product is sold to the final consumers. All those activities they come in supply chain. So even if I have talked about customers as well. Customers living in another country and you want to sell them. So again, physical interaction is not possible, and you do not know the customer personally. Same is the case with customers as well. So the element of reliability might not be there. So customer loyalty cannot be earned in the same way if you actually meet customers on face to face and then try to convince them to buy the product. All right, then ethical considerations due to relocation. Yeah, again, I have used it again because the point is there as well. But I actually wanted to highlight the point that is redundancy. Because when you relocate means that now you are planning to close down your factory or your business in that country, and now you are moving to another country. Okay. Otherwise, if you are locating your business in another country as well, that you have your branch in your own country and you're planning to extend it to another country as well, that is perfectly fine. But here, the point is that you are going to close down your existing branch and now you are going to relocate that in another country. So redundancies will take place. Okay, obviously you will hire people in that country again, and here you will ask people to leave because you are closing down that branch. So it will actually create a very bad image. And if people over there come to know about it as well, so obviously, and I told you, if people are ethically aware as well, so there will be a very bad image that will be created of that business, that they actually asked so many people to leave, and they are responsible of job losses of so many people. So and people because of that may not buy from you in the other country. All right, now reasons for international location decision. If we talk about why people plan to move to another country, it's quite simple. Huh? We discussed that in earlier classes as well, but we'll discuss it here again. So why you plan to move to another country? One, to reduce cost. So maybe raw material is cheaper over there, or the labor is cheap over there, or maybe taxes are on the lower side, rent of the building is quite low, whatever is the reason, but cost is lower there, so you plan to move to that country. That is why developed countries, they actually want to open their businesses or set up their factories in developing country because they know that cost is quite low over there as well. Then to target growing market abroad, yes, if you think that in another country there are lots of potential customers and they are growing in number, so you plan to go over there. Why? Because most of the time it happens that when you feel that now there is saturation there in your home market, that you are already actually selling to lots of customers in your own country, and in order to increase your sales, you plan to go to another country so that you can sell over there as well, and you feel that there is a significant increase in the number of potential customers over there as well. So to increase your sales, you plan to go there. To avoid trade barriers, yes, that's very important. That if you think that, for example, you produce here and you sell to another country, but there are lots of trade barriers. You have to pay lots of tariffs as well, and sometimes you cannot export it because the government puts a ban over it. Like think about Pakistan and India. So you cannot sell goods to India because there is a ban over there. Okay, but if you set up your business over there, okay, now trade barriers, they do not come into play. Think about Pepsi and Coke. The country of origin is America, right? But they produce it in Pakistan. So trade barriers are not there because goods do not go across the border, right? They are produced in Pakistan, they are sold in Pakistan as well. So in that way, you can avoid lots of barriers. So you can imagine, for example, if Pepsi and Coke, uh, uh, let's say if they are not produced in Pakistan, and let's say if they would have been produced in America, so and then they would have been sent to Pakistan all the way from America. So transportation cost is involved, then maybe some taxes are imposed in the form of tariffs as well. So we might have been getting soft drinks at a very high price. But now because they are produced in Pakistan, when trade barriers are not involved, that's why we get it cheaply. So that is one of the way to avoid trade barriers for countries as well. And this is true for those businesses which are producing in one country and selling it in other countries. So then they think that it is better to operate in those countries as well. Now, what does it mean? That it is better to produce in those countries as well. Okay, because in that way they will avoid trade barriers as well, and transportation costs can be avoided as well. Then availability of skilled labor. Yes, skilled labor is there, and you feel that you do not have sufficient amount of suitable labor here, so you set up over there so that you can get the advantage of that skilled labor over there as well, to increase the quality of products you produce, and then you can sell it in all parts of the world as well after that. Business friendly government, yes, it is there and it is supportive, so you can do it as well. Like in Pakistan, these days the car policy, okay, automobile policy is very friendly. That's why you are actually seeing that every now and then there is a new car coming in Pakistan. Okay, Kia, think about it. They are launching so many cars there as well. Even China is actually they have launched cars and they are planning to launch other cars as well. So it means that now there is a business friendly policy linked to automobile. So now it's high time for those businesses to plan to go over there as well. They can, right now they are exporting, but they can set up their factories in Pakistan as well because government is supportive there as well. So this is the way you. This is one of the reason you go over there, and you can avoid high taxes as well in that way. And there are not a lot of legal complications which can be set by the governments as well. So if the government does not impose any legal complications because they are friendly to that particular sort of a business or product, so it is better to move over there, and businesses they move to those countries. To avoid exchange rate fluctuations as well. Yes, I told you earlier about exchange rate risk. So if you work here and you sell your countries in other countries, so there is a problem. Sell your products, sorry, to other countries, there is a problem. Okay. So why? Because if your exchange rate appreciates, people find it expensive to buy from you. Right? I gave you the example. And if your exchange rate depreciates, so it is cheaper for you to buy from the other countries, but you do not get a lot of money from them. That is the problem. Okay, because now your products are cheaper. Although they will buy from you, it's fine. Okay, but so that is the problem. But if you set up your business over there, now there is no question of exchanging the money, because you are dealing over in that country, you are producing there, you are selling there, so you are getting their money in the form of revenue, and you are spending it over there as well. So there is a not a lot of risk as far as exchange rate fluctuations are concerned. But it's there when you produce in one country and you sell in another country. Then exchange rate fluctuation, they may hurt you in the form of loss of sales revenue. All right. Then we have okay. Then okay, another term which is linked to that when you plan to locate your business in other countries, multi-site location or multi-site business. You can understand that you operate not from one of the branch or one of the location rather. You operate from different locations, and it's quite understandable because you cannot actually supply goods to all your potential customers from one location. You have to have more than one location so that you can supply it conveniently, people can buy it conveniently, and there is not a lot of transportation cost there as well. Let's have a look. It is a business which operates from more than one location, right? Large retailing businesses are often multi-site, as serving all customers from one location is not a wise decision. Think about Pepsi and Coke. So they do not operate from one location. They have their plant in Pakistan as well. They have the plant in India as well, UK as well, USA. So it means that they operate from different locations to meet the needs of the people over there in that country. And we call them such businesses multi-site businesses or multi-site locations. Okay, offshoring again. Now, offshoring, you understand that you actually there is something which is linked with across the border as well. Okay, so let's have a look at this definition as well. It is the process of relocating some of business operations in another country to take certain advantages. So now it means you do not completely relocate to that country, but you actually shift some of your activities over there just to get the advantage which is available there in that country, and that is lower labor costs and favorable business conditions. We have discussed about it, but offshoring is that you actually shift some of your business operations rather than moving the whole business over there. Okay, so we call it offshoring. So this is quite easy. The name suggests that offshore. Okay. Okay. Now factors affecting the production decision. Okay, now it's about production. When you plan to produce, what are the factors which you need to consider? The first is size of the market. So now if you, let's say, you know that there are different methods of production. So if your size of the market is big, there are lots of customers, you will go with flow production. You know that because you can produce very quickly, standardized products are there, and you can meet the demands of numerous customers over there. If the market is small and people have their own requirements, then maybe job production is better because you can meet the individual needs of the customers as well. Then amount of capital available, yes. Again, if you have a lot of capital, you can go for capital intensive production, that is flow production, mass customization. This is possible because the setup cost is quite high. You know that. Okay, but if you do not have much capital, then maybe job production might be more suitable because it is more of labor intensive. But still, you will be able to satisfy the needs of the people to the maximum level. Then availability of other resources as well. Yes, whether the required amount of resources are there or not. Like for example, you go for job production, but you know that in job production, highly skilled labor is required. But if it is not available there, how can you go for it? Okay, then you have to use machines over there as well. Similarly, if machines, advanced machinery is not available there, how can you go for capital intensive production? Because it won't actually meet your requirements. So again, you need to see that, like you moving from developed to developing country, you might not get the same advanced machinery there, right? So you need to think over it. um, so resources, how many resources you have, you need to consider that while producing in any country wherever you are. Then okay, so skilled, unskilled labor, land available or not. You, let's say you plan to grow crops in a Middle East country. So you know that Middle East is not actually good for growing vegetation. Okay, because there is desert there, and you know that it's not easy to grow fruits or vegetables over there as well. So again, the suitability of land is not there. So it means the resource required or relevant resource is not there. So there is no point producing such products over there. All right, then demand for slightly different products. Again, if it is they're slightly different, so the right method of production could be mass customization, where basic design remains the same, and you make certain changes to meet the needs of the people. This is possible. Okay, labor and capital intensity, we have talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. You know, job production is labor intensive, flow production is capital intensive. So labor intensive, you define it in that way that when a method of production where more of labor is used and less of capital is used, you have to use both of the words, more of labor and less of machinery for labor intensive. And for capital intensive, you say more of capital and less of labor. Okay, to produce goods and services. So labor intensive is for job production. You know that I'm not going to talk about much. Capital intensive flow production, you know about it. So advantages and suitability, so you know about it. If people have different needs, you go for job production. And labor is cheap, again you go for job production. Market is small, you go for job production. But if market is large, and people they want almost the same product time and again, you go for flow production, right? And capital is cheap over there, labor is expensive, again you go for flow production there as well. So advantages are there for each method of production, but there are certain drawbacks as well. So you need to see their suitability as well, because there is no point going for labor intensive production where there is where labor is very expensive over there, or relevant skilled labor is not available, right? Same is the case with capital intensive production as well. All right, now the next topic is scale of production, and this is the last topic of this chapter, and I'll talk about it in the next class. Thank you very much.